troopers to another area, presumably, but we don't know that. But we do know that we've talked to some of the people in this area and that they were very familiar with the name Ryan Lanza and the Lanza brothers, and that they said that they were a well-known family in town. And now we are hearing that Ryan Lanza may be connected to the shooting and his brother may have been with him. We know that when we first arrived on scene, there was a man that was escorted out of the wooded area near the school, and that person told a parent, "It wasn't me, it wasn't me." And then we heard from police that the shooter was found dead inside the school. We know from a source that the shooter was wearing camo pants, and we know, according to what people saw on scene here, is that person being escorted out of the woods was also wearing camo pants in their description. So maybe they showed up here together. That's still very unclear. Maybe one brother didn't know what the other brother had planned, if he was just trying to help him figure out what was going on. But it's just a lot of information that we still need to try to pin down and make clear. And as you heard probably within the past half hour, Lieutenant Paul Vance says that they were going to almost be doing updates hourly. The next one is supposed to be happening within the next 30 or 40 minutes, and they are doing those at an area down the way about 2 miles from here. And as we look over here, you can see some of the State of Connecticut vehicles coming into the scene. Emergency communication vehicle, that's obviously going to be part of the command post that is being set up here. We also saw one of the other state police major vehicles coming in earlier, because they said that they're going to have to process this scene over at the school and also another scene here in town. So there's just crime scenes, 2 major crime scenes in a town that rarely ever sees any crime whatsoever, never mind a massive massacre like this where 20 or so people have been killed, and many of those people very young children. Sandy Hook Elementary, as we've been hearing, is a K through 4 school, so there's just a very close-knit community here. A lot of the parents live right in this area around the school, so now that, as you can see, they're dealing with all of this media, all of these emergency vehicles, and it's just going to be a situation that they're going to have to deal with as they, at the same time, deal with this horrible, horrible tragedy.
Robert, I want to ask you, because there has been about the name. We initially were reporting, what CBS News was reporting, that it was Ryan Lanza. New reports are coming up from CBS that they're not going to use the first name anymore, that it could be Adam Lanza, his brother. What are you hearing there?
Well, that's interesting, because we did talk to a lot of the people, and we told them that, you know, that we were from sources hearing that it was Ryan Lanza. They said, "Oh, he has a brother," and then that's where it was starting to get a little bit confusing. So at this point, it's very unclear, and the state police have not identified the shooter. But some sources were telling us that it was one of the Lanza brothers that was involved in the shooting, and possibly another one of the brothers was actually in custody, and that matches up with some of those first-hand accounts of what we heard was some of the one of the Lanza brothers possibly being escorted out of the wooded area, and him saying to a parent, "It wasn't me, it wasn't me."
All right, Robert Goulston, thank you very much for that. We'll check in with you a little bit later on today with that information. It's just
the words are hard to find at this time.
Yeah.
It really is just, we've been reporting on this since it broke this morning, and it's still hard to believe it happened.
And so just to clarify, this whole name thing has been very confusing, because multiple sources were calling him Ryan Lanza and the brother Adam Lanza. We do know the brother's in custody, and perhaps there was some confusion when the initial information came out from law enforcement officials after the brother was taken into custody.
And these kinds of things do happen when we have a live situation and information is coming from all different sources. So we'll try to get that buttoned down for you, but we do know it is a person whose surname is Lanza.
Absolutely.
And whose mother was a kindergarten teacher at Sandy Hook Elementary School and was killed this morning in her classroom.
The reality is just starting to sink in today. One of, if not the worst day in Connecticut history today. Very dark chapter in our history. 26 people, murdered at a school in Newtown.
And 20 of them were children. 18 of them were pronounced dead at the school. They died in their classroom with their teacher.
Parents received a text message this morning shortly after 9:30 that something had happened. They had to go to the school, and those who could took their loved ones home. Other schools in town were locked down. Many people went home early, took their kids out of school early.